He kōna I purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Today we're headed south to a small town with a long bridge. A town sat in the middle of the Canterbury Plains beside a mighty braided river.
Rakaia is in the mid-Canterbury district, which is in between the Rakaia rivers and the Rangitata River. And it's flat as a pancake, but we've got the Southern Alps on one side and then the Pacific Ocean on the other.
And running 150 kilometres from the Alps into that ocean, the Rakaia River is the reason the town of the same name exists.
As a kid growing up here, we spent all of our spare time down the river, my brother and I and all of our cousins and friends, and so it was an important playground.
But not just a playground, because in that water is one of the main reasons to visit.
The river right next to us is world famous for salmon.
Rakaia has that community feel, a meeting place nestled in amongst the mid-Canterbury farmland. So let's head there. State Highway 1, Te Waipounamu, the South Island. This is Nau Mai Town, a podcast about Māori place names. Ko Justine Murray, aho. If you want to get a grounding in all things Rakaia, you could do a lot worse than dive into the 700-page book Rakaia, Our History, produced in 2015 by Janine Irving and the Rakaia History Group. The book was part of a project that began in 2006, 150 years since Rakaia was settled. And I'll tell you, for example, that European settlers briefly tried to rename the river as the Chumley, but it didn't stick. And it makes clear that to understand the name Rakaia, you have to start with the Rakaia River. Hundreds of years ago, this area was abundant in food. A mahinga kai, or a food gathering place. Lots of bird life and fish, so heaps of protein to be had. From the 13th century, the very tall and flightless moa roamed these parts. According to the book, the Ngai Rokowhiria tribe from Kaiapoi Pa, about 70 kilometres from Rakaia, made their way to Rakaia to stock up on food. They even cooked their kai in earth ovens they made near the mouth of the river. Georgia Gunn Solomon is on the Te Runanga o Arowhenua board. It's one of the 3 tribal organisations with mana whenua here.
Ko Georgia Gunn Solomon tōku ikoa, huri tēnei no kaitahu, huri tēnei no kāti huirapa, no kaitara kia moa, no kāti hini matua no hoki.
The first iteration of Rakaia was o Rakaia. The o in front of a te reo Māori name means the place of. And Rakaia in te reo Māori is people ranged in ranks. So together, o Rakaia, the place where people were ranged in ranks.
So I've seen o Rakaia written in the notes of Edward Shortland, who came through the area in 1844 and was guided by some of our tupuna. So it's possibly that that's just the way he heard it. They could have been talking about the river, or it is possibly a way that they did refer to the river.
No one seems to know exactly why, but the oa from o Rakaia was dropped. So Rakaia, the name we have today, means people ranged in ranks. Pretty simple so far. Except, what does it mean to say people arranged in ranks? In English, it's an odd phrase. Well, Georgia says the name is more to do about the act of crossing the Rakaia River.
Harry's Betty talks about how they would cross the river using a tūwhana, a pole to help them across because it is quite a swift river.
That's Harry's Beatty, a journalist and historian who carried out a major survey of the lifestyles and traditions of Southern Māori in 1920.
That is a possibility, that is where the name comes from.
So while it's not explicit in the history books, it seems early Māori who were in Rakaia to gather kai to hunt and fish would use a tūwhana, a river crossing pole to get across the fast-running Rakaia River. But kai wasn't the only reason Māori needed to cross the river. It was a pathway leading to the Southern Alps, ka tiritiri o te moana in Māori, through the mountains to the precious Pounamu on the west coast. The Rakaia River was a key part of the ara tawhito, or ancient trails running east to west, providing food and water as East Coast Māori crossed the mountains during the summer months to get Pounamu to use for tools, weapons and ornaments. Bruce Kelly has lived in Rakaia for 40 years. He's on the committee of the Rakaia River fishing competition and used to own the Rakaia River Holiday Park. An avid fisher, he knows the river well.
Second biggest braided river in New Zealand, and these braided rivers are fairly uncommon. It's kind of designed to cope with very, very large flood flows.
And he's heard bits of the story, the meaning of Rakaia, where the story came from.
Was known as O Rakaia originally, but they tend to think it, and literally in Maori it means in ranks, standing in ranks, which they think is referring to the fact that to cross the river, the Maori would have had to stand in a line to get through the swift flowing river.
I scrolled through some of the pages of the book Rakaia, Our History, and the stories of long-time residents. The book's summary concludes with,
regardless of which definition is correct, it is clear that the force of this beautiful and treacherous river posed a significant challenge to all early visitors who wished to cross, and the river was named in recognition of its might.
Rakaia isn't the only name of the braided river. Georgia says there are other sections or tributaries of the river with the same name, with small additions.
The Rakaia heads up from the coast, inland, and then branches off into three separate awa.
Awa in Te Reo Māori is river. In this case, Georgia is talking about three rivers that flow from the larger Rakaia River.
The name for the southern branch is Rakaia Waiki. The name for the Matthias River is the Rakaia Waipakihi, and the Wilberforce is the Waitawhiri.
And if you want to know more, check out the Kaitahu Cultural Mapping website, Kahuru Manu.
And that's our authoritative source of Ngaisahu place names. So you can view that online. It's available to the public, and it holds heaps of our kōrero around the place names within the Kaisahu Takiwā.
Coming into Rakaia from the north, you cross that long bridge I mentioned. Ignore the tourist guff that claims it's the longest road bridge in the Southern Hemisphere. There are longer ones in Australia and South America. But it's the longest in New Zealand, getting you across the river's braids. And there at the northern entrance to Rakaia is a 12-foot-high fiberglass sculpture known locally as Salmon Sam. Rakaia calls itself the salmon fishing capital of the world. To be fair, so do towns in Alaska, Canada, Norway, but salmon, the Chinook salmon in particular, is a big deal in these parts. Introduced in the early 1900s, the salmon flourished. Its numbers, though, have been dwindling to historic lows thanks to climate change, dairy runoff and a collapsing food chain. So, how does the fishing compare today than when it first started back in 1983? Here's Bruce Kelly again.
Well, once upon a time, they actually had a commercial fishery going. Many people would go and catch 4 a day, every day, quite easily. I think in the best year we had over 900 entries, and originally it was 5 days, so we attracted a lot of people into the town.
But times have changed.
Salmon have disappeared. Yeah.
Fish and Game data says that in the 1990s, the estimated salmon harvest in the Rakaia peaked around 7,000 or 8,000. The drop-off since has been huge, and in 2025 was estimated at less than 100.
You can only catch one a season now, and they're a lot smaller than what they used to be as well, so I didn't bother going fishing last year.
That's sad hearing that from Bruce, that this much-loved pastime in Rakaia is not what it used to be. But while the salmon aren't running like they used to, the annual fishing competition still happens. And there's some great community initiatives that have happened as a result.
Recently we've contributed a decent amount of money to a project in the headwaters to rejuvenate or protect spawning streams.
It's just that the fishing competition, now in its 43rd year, looks different.
It's morphed over the years into more of a social sort of event.
It's morphed to the point that this year there was no actual fishing. Salmon stocks are just too low. The prize for the heaviest fish has turned into a lucky dip draw. But the locals say Rakaia is a great place to raise a family. It's just a short drive to Ashburton, a bit longer drive to Christchurch, should they want to check out a few other shops. The population is on the rise. Barely 1,000 20 years ago. It's now home to around 1,700 people. Here, there's a sense of community. So we asked a few of the locals, what else is there to love? Here's Jodie Baker.
It's a great little town, great community base, a lot of great people, and it's actually quite a large area when you take in all the farming communities as well.
The Railway Tavern, built in 1873, is one of 2 bars in Rakaia. Owner Prabjot Singh says in a small community, you're bound to know the punters.
It's pretty much farmers because, this area, it's a farming area.
Every year in November, there's a contest of the rural kind. Young farmers line up in the bar to
Shear the sheep first. They will win the prizes, raffles and many more things like that.
And business owner Tyrone Burrows took over the business from his dad.
Started at the tea rooms, and then from there he moved into the Rakaia food store and sold that the day before GST come in, and started up a jam business, and then from there sold that and moved. We ended up purchasing the mobile here end of 94.
Fun fact, this year marks 170 years since the town was settled. Because back in pre-European times, when Ngai Rokowhiria were crisscrossing the river, ranged in ranks to stop from being swept away, well, they actually didn't settle here. It was a meeting place, somewhere to hunt, to fish, but there was no kainga or village. So who are the mana whenua in this rohe, this region?
The area sits under the mana of Tuahiwi, Varu Whenua of Taumotu. Our hapu boundaries, Runanga boundaries, are quite a bit bigger. The marae for the area would be based out at Taumotu, at Tuahiwi and Aro Whenua.
Each marae is about 30 minutes to an hour's drive from Rakaia. Before we go, let's go down to the water one more time, dangle out one more question and see who bites. So, how does everyone like to eat their salmon?
Well, just pan-fried.
I tend to cold smoke them.
A hot smoked salmon dish, anything hot smoked.
It's preserved. Honestly, that's my favourite way to eat salmon.
You got to catch one first.
Rakaia, people ranged in ranks across a mid-Canterbury braided river sitting between the Southern Alps and the Pacific Ocean. Known for its fishing, farming and the families that settled here in this tight-knit community. Ngā mihi kia koutou, and thanks for listening. Thanks to Georgia Gunn Solomon for sharing your kōrero. Kona Lysaught at Rokowhiria Ashburton Art Gallery and Museum. He mihi tēnei kia koe. Thanks to my amazing colleague Anisha Satya, who interviewed all the Rakaia locals in this story. Production coordinator Brianna Uritich-Gregg. Executive editor of audio Tim Watkin. Sound engineer William Saunders. Follow and listen to Nau Mai Town wherever you get your podcasts. Ko Justine Murray aho, mā te wā.